Hello and welcome to the mappFramework tutorial video from Map Audit. In this video, you will learn what features are included in the audit framework, what gets imported, and the required modifications to fully integrate the framework into your application. The Map Audit Framework creates two audit systems. The first audit system captures all built-in audit events for map services. The second audit system exclusively uses custom events and is intended for debugging and troubleshooting the application. For example, you can trigger custom events throughout the application to narrow down the cause of a bug in the code. Next, a query has been configured along with an accompanying state machine in code for querying large amounts of data. The optional map view frontend includes the ability to view the audit list and export archives. You can also configure automatic archiving. As time goes on, additional features may be added to the Map Audit Framework. Be sure to check the help file of the latest version to see the full list of current features. The steps to import a Map Framework component are described in the overview video at the top of this playlist. If you haven't already watched that video, please do so now. After import, an audit package will now appear within the infrastructure package of the logical view. The corresponding Audit Manager task contains a number of files, which we will now go through one by one. AuditManager.st is the main task code which sets up the map function blocks, calls all actions, and provides examples for triggering custom events. Next, we have the local type and variable definition files. The HMI actions file contains all supporting code for the HMI functionality, such as the automatic archive settings and export command. The execute query file executes the provided query via a state machine, which supports querying large amounts of data. The change configuration file contains the programming to modify the audit configuration at runtime. Modifications to this file are typically not necessary. Along with the task, you will see three additional packages which contain localizable text files. The exported text package contains the text that is shown in the audit export files. The display text package contains the texts that are used on the audit list widget on the MapView HMI. Lastly, the common text package contains text that is used both in the export file as well as on the HMI. The audit framework uses separate display texts so that more succinct messages can be shown on the HMI without sacrificing any details in the audit archive. Within export text and display text packages, you will see an event texts file and a data points text file. The event texts file identifies what audit text will be used when the corresponding audit event occurs. A link to the help page, which explains the event and event ID pairs, is provided on the task overview page. The data points text file is where you define the audit text for any monitored data points. The text ID must be equal to the fully resolved variable name. More details are provided on the features page of the help. The common text package holds the event text for each individual map service included in the framework. If you imported the MapView frontend, then relevant content files are included in the framework package within the pages package. You will need to assign the audit content to an area on a page within your visualization. This is the only required modification for the audit framework. The localizable text required for the HMI is included within the mappFramework texts package. If you did not import the MapView frontend, then you will need to connect the HMI audit variable structure elements to your visualization. Moving on to the configuration view, an audit package gets added to the map services package. Here you see the two map audit core configuration files, as well as a unit file. Next, a modular OPC UA default view file will be added to the connectivity package. The TMX files used by the audit framework will be merged into the TMX files for target list in the text configuration. Some users and roles are added to the corresponding files within the user role system. All default user passwords are 123, capital A, capital B, lowercase c, and should be changed after importing the framework. If you imported the mappView frontend, an audit package will be added to the mappView package, which includes all the binding and event binding files necessary for the audit framework. The items required for the audit framework will be merged into the .vis file you selected during import. Lastly, in the CPU configuration, a few things are changed as well. If your user partition is less than 256 megabytes, the value is increased as such. 2 file devices are merged to the file device list. If you imported mappView and OPC-UA is not yet enabled, this will be enabled for you. In addition to the required modification mentioned previously, there are some optional modifications that you may want to consider. For example, you may want to customize your audit text or add more custom events. For more details, refer to the corresponding section in the help. The map audit content can be viewed immediately after project installation via the framework demo page in mappView. Here you can view the audit lists for both audit systems and run a query. Note that the ability to configure the automatic archive export, create an immediate export, or run a query is restricted to the administrator's role. To demonstrate this here, I have also imported the map userx framework. The default administrative user is admin, with default password 123, capital A, capital B, lowercase c. And with that, we conclude our overview of the map audit framework. Please feel free to check out the additional map framework tutorial videos within this playlist.